Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers about hikers for everybody.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning.
Welcome to the Jester Section Hiker Podcast with the spotlight on section hikers.
And I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. You are listening to Jester Section Hiker, the premier podcast with the spotlight on section hikers, and I am your host, Julie Jester Gayhart. Shortly after I started the podcast in December of 2019, I interviewed Nathan and Kimm with the Pinhoti Outdoor Center. Nathan and Kimm shared in that episode all about the Outdoor Center, their love for the Pinhoti Trail, how they give back to their local community there in Sylacauga, Alabama, and Nathan also shared about hoping to finish his AT section hike. Well, needless to say, that episode was released on Saturday, March 14th, 2020. And if you remember, that was the weekend everything started shutting down because of COVID. And wow, have things changed since that first episode. I do recommend everyone going back and listening to that show, which was episode number 11. For today's show, I catch up with Nathan and Kimm again as they give us an update on the Pinhoti Outdoor Center, how their lives have changed since COVID, and Nathan shares a very, very special time this past summer as he completed his 19-year Appalachian Trail section hike. Thanks for joining me for this week's episode, and now on to Nathan and Kimm Wright. All right, you guys, welcome back to the podcast. The original OGs, as we just named them, from down south in Alabama, Sylacauga, Alabama. Welcome back to the show, Nathan and Kimm Wright. Hey, you guys.
Hey, good
How's
to
it
be
going?
here.
It's going good. And you guys, I'll just let you know, we are all three exhausted.
So tired.
Hey, it's the best way to be.
It's been a long day, but we all agreed we are going to record this podcast because I've been wanting to get you guys back on. You guys were on episode number 11, 87
Crazy.
episodes ago.
Wow.
Good for you.
And 87 and COVID.
87 and COVID, because
Yes.
another thing I figured out is your episode came out. We were all excited. You know, you guys were getting going with your Pinhoti Outdoor Center, and we were inviting everybody in the world to come to Alabama. And that weekend is when the shutdown was of COVID.
Yep.
It's like, oh my God. But your
Yeah.
episode did awesome, and it continues to do awesome.
That's great. That's great.
So congratulations on that. So real quick, let's just reintroduce yourselves. So Kimm, why don't you start?
I'm Kimm Wright, and Nathan and I own the Pinhoti Outdoor Center with some friends, Jeff and Bo. And we have been doing this for about 2 years and absolutely am just loving getting to know hikers from all over the world. it's just been wide open for us. So we're excited. Thank you for having us to share and talk about the Pinhoti and talk about what we love the most.
All right, perfect. And Nathan?
Yep, Nathan Wright. I go by Switchback on the trail. I just finished a long section hike of the Appalachian Trail, and we're down here in Alabama where the Appalachians begin, and would love to have anybody come down and hike the Pinhoti and see where the real Appalachian Mountains rise.
Oh, here we go already. Down there at Flag Mountain, everybody needs it. Wait a minute, there's an issue already because you're saying Appalachians.
Oh,
I mean, you're down there in Alabama. It's got to be Appalachian, right, or no?
I grew up hearing both. I guess I don't know. I never heard a good argument for either way. So,
well, there you go. So, well, Kimm, let's go back to you. Refresh everybody. I know you said you've been in business for about 2 years, and we ended off where we were inviting everybody to come down and see you guys, and then COVID hit. So I kind of want to start this episode with what the heck happened with you guys in COVID? Did you still continue to see hikers because everybody rushed to the outdoors? So kind of in a nutshell, walk us through that year and how things went down for you guys.
COVID was a little bit scary for everybody at the beginning because no one knew what to expect. And that kind of was the same for us. So we shut down pretty much for the month of April, and then jump ahead and the phone calls started coming in. June, July, and August, it's typically hot in Alabama anyway, so it didn't really affect us either way. October 1st, everybody was tired of being inside. A lot of states said, get outside. It's okay to be on the trails. And we were wide open. And it was just from September 26th, when we actually had our official grand opening, till the end of the year, we were just totally amazed at the number of people that hit the Pinhoti. So COVID affected us in good ways and bad ways. For the business itself, it was just incredible. It was incredible to see people still just changing their way of life because they wanted to be outside and do things, and a lot of family interaction and people just really enjoying being outside in nature and just for the moment forgetting about COVID. So
which is a very good thing. Which
absolutely.
Now, as far as go ahead, Nate.
I'm sorry. I would say it was very interesting because we shut down in April, and the Pinhoti is part of the Eastern Continental Trail, and there were a couple of hikers that had just passed through on the ECT who really didn't have anywhere to go because they weren't allowed to continue up through the AT. They were just kind of dangling out there and didn't know what to do. So they came back and did a work for stay in our hostel. We shut down. They came in, we did some help, doing some work around that we needed to get done. And we were able to do that in a safe manner and during that time, that downtime, if you will. And so that was really interesting. And you're right, we kind of stutter step through that, and it took off. Like Kimm said, it was just great.
And let's remind everybody, what are your services down there at the Pinhoti Outdoor Center? I know you guys are a hostel, you do shuttling, but you do way more than that as well. So Nate, do you want to go over that real quick?
Right. So absolutely, we do shuttles. We do shuttles out to airports, Atlanta, Birmingham, Montgomery, bus stations, train stations, whatever. However we can get you down here, we're going to help out any way we can. All the trailheads, obviously, we shuttle to. We do food drops. Of course, we have the hostel with full laundry, bathroom, kitchen. We got 2 acres where you can tent or hammock, big fire pit, large parking area for long-term parking. But one of the things that we've started recently is I do a weekly Zoom call for people that are wanting to ask questions or do a planning session, or just, you go on Facebook and ask a question, you're going to get 1,000 answers. Some of them are good. Some of them are, not so good. And, you never know what you're going to get. So this is weekly Zoom call, limited to 10 people. And it's been a huge success. People coming in, we just sit and chat. I go through some most commonly asked questions, and each person has a chance to ask questions of their own. And it's really been a great way for people to learn from each other. Like, oh, I didn't think to ask that. Or, it's just been a great time for people to learn. And so logistics, plannings, we do a lot of that stuff and help people just get out there. That's our goal, is to get people outside.
So where can people find that info? Is that on your Facebook page, the Pinhoti Outdoor Center?
Well, no, it's different every week. So what we do is, if you want to get on a Zoom call, you send us an email and ask for an invite, and we just keep a rolling roster going of folks that are going to be on the Zoom call. We send out invites on Tuesday nights and for a Thursday night Zoom call. And but yeah, we have a Facebook page. Instagram is where we're at, so you can follow us there and see what all is going on.
Excellent. And of course, I'll make sure all that information is in the show notes. Is that what you're calling the Backpacking 101?
No, Backpacking 101 was an actual class that we held with a couple of other organizations in Alabama. We actually had a hands-on instructor-led class at our center for a 3-day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday event. People came in and went through we had different classes like how to fit a backpack, how to start a fire, how to set up camp, how to throw a bear bag, all the different things, how to cook with a stove. Some people have never done these things.
Kimm is laughing. Kimm, why are you laughing?
Nathan surprised me a little bit and did a little cooking class, a kind of little Julia Child thing he had going on in front of all these kids, and taught him how to make his favorite chicken and mashed potatoes on the trail meal. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Were you shocked because he doesn't cook at home, or?
I have to give him a hard time. I give him a hard time because I said, the one meal you cook, you give it to another woman sitting right in front of you. But it was actually,
Nathan's
not
laughing, everybody. Nathan is the one not laughing.
He knows it's true, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And the lady did say that it was very good chicken and mashed potatoes. But Nathan does go, he does go way beyond and, take care of hikers and stuff like that. So it was fun to see him jump in and teach everybody how to cook a meal on the trail.
Well, you guys are moving right along. So you got your weekly Zoom call that people can get in on that now. Mm-hmm. And you guys are in your hiker season right now. Is that right, Kimm? Do you consider this time of year the fall going into, I know last time we talked, you said probably Nathan, I remember Nathan saying, around Christmas, a lot of people will start, hiking the trail. But I think November, early October is hitting you guys now, right?
Yeah, we had a few come in Labor Day weekend in September. And then it seemed like October 1st, the floodgates opened and everybody decided it's time to hike. And perfect weather for it in Alabama. The temperature's a little bit cooler at night and even during the day. It has been insane. Nathan, what do you think? About 80 people on trail this month alone?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
75, 80. And that doesn't include, that's individual hikers, not ones that we support back and forth or do slacking for. It's just been incredible. It's incredible.
Well, that is awesome. And I'll be honest with you. I don't hear anybody speaking about the Pinhoti Trail these days without talking about you guys. So you guys are down there doing some special stuff.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah,
I think it's awesome.
It's always good to hear. We hear it a lot, but it still blows our mind. We just, we're just out here to help people get outside, and we saw an opportunity with the building that we operate out of, and it was just perfect location, and we said, let's do it. And we're just here to serve the hiker, so it's always great to hear that we get that love back.
Well, the love is out there, believe me. And I also saw recently, which I think is really cool, and I'm not sure which one of you to ask this question, the hiker tags, the coveted hiker tag. And I saw that the Pinhoti Trail is starting that. I think it was in conjunction maybe with the Chamber of Commerce there. Yeah. So I don't know if Kimm or Nathan, which one you guys want to speak on that?
Nathan, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's been real interesting. There's a few key towns along the Pinhoti in Alabama that are very interested in helping and getting involved. And Sylacauga, where we live, is one of those. And we are a designated Alabama Pinhoti Trail town through the Alabama Pinhoti Trail Association. Another town, Heflin, if you're researching the Pinhoti, you've definitely heard of Heflin. They have a great support around the trail through the city. and they've started a hiker certification. So if you hike it and you do the application, and they'll give you a certificate of completion. And that's been pretty popular. And we were like, hey,
that is awesome. That's what hikers want. I mean, they want that certificate. Yeah.
But we were sitting back here in Sylacauga. We're like, okay, how do we get Sylacauga involved in this? Because, we didn't want Heflin to get all the cred, right? We love Heflin, and it's fun. It's fun working with those guys, and they do a great job. But we're like, all right, how do we get Sylacauga involved? So we decided we would work with the chamber and come up with a registration process. And it's free, totally voluntary. You don't have to do it. It doesn't cost anything. If you come into the chamber, they give you a hiker tag. It's numbered, so you get a unique number on your tag. You go through the registration, and that is a requirement for the certificate out of Heflin. So we're working together. The cities are working together through that process, and it's really, really driving a lot of interest, and it's bringing a lot of people into town, which was the goal for the chamber, to bring these hikers into town. And, they're always going to, let's go eat somewhere or something. So we want people to see Sylacauga and see what we have to offer here.
Which is great.
That really helps twofold too, because those numbers really can help us down the road when we try to get grants and stuff like that to help with maintainers or maintenance on the trails or building new trails. Having those numbers available of people that are hiking the trail, whether it's through hiking or section hiking, that's really helpful as well. So all in all, it's just been a great partnership with Heflin and a great partnership with the city of Sylacauga, and great for the Pinhoti Trail.
Well, listen, you guys are rocking and rolling down there. I'm telling you, and I keep saying I'm coming, but I'm definitely coming to see you guys.
We still got your reservation. It's sitting there.
And I got to tell you guys, there's one thing in our notes that we didn't talk about, which I thought was phenomenal, how the community came together for you guys, because you had a little issue. Was it with your well?
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
You probably don't want to talk about it, but I do. Because
I think in the feels, both of us get emotional.
That's the point. You guys had this issue at the outdoor center, and the community came through for you guys. And I know that was not easy to ask for money, because I mean, that's the last thing anybody wants to do. So Kim, I'm going to make you get the feels about that.
That's okay. We had a situation where we could have shut down. Without water, you can't do laundry, you can't shower. That's two of the main amenities that we offer hikers. And we were in a position that basically what happened is the well itself, the pump itself, broke and dropped into the well and could not get retrieved. And
the whole well collapsed.
It just collapsed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it collapsed.
So we had just put out there, if we want to do this, let's just do a GoFundMe and see what happens. Not knowing, that we had a little bit of money that we could use, but knowing that the hostel business is not a get rich quick business. We do it for the hikers, not for our wallets. And so we put it out there, and just as a joke, we said, if we get, the $9,000 that we needed for the well by Saturday at 7:00, Nathan would shave his head. And I just joked about it, and Nathan, was a great sport and agreed to it. And by Saturday morning, we had that money and then some, and it was just insane. Then there were people that were making bids and it ended up being that we had to go about 300 feet deeper than we had originally planned, which jumped our cost up to about $11,000. And they were making bids on Nathan's beard, saying, if we get you to 11,000 by the time his hair gets cut, then we'll shave the beard too. And
it was close, wasn't it?
That's close. a good part of the reason that Nathan gets emotional, because he was getting a little nervous. He's like, somebody help me out here. And his mom was like, I'll give you 150 if you don't shave the beard. So that started a bidding war, and he got to save the beard. But the hiking community, gosh, Jester, it was insane that many people would just come out for us and support us. It meant so much.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, it just goes back to, you guys know this, the trail provides.
Absolutely.
And it provides all the way around, whether you're a hiker, a trail angel, a hostel owner, trail maintainer. You guys are all the above. You check all the boxes, and that's why it came back.
It was insane.
And that's why people wanted to give back to you, because of what they experienced down there and what they wanted to keep going. So bravo.
Yeah.
I say bravo.
Yep. It's been incredible. And we do not have any issues now with water. And that's just a gift. It's just something that we'll be able to pay forward and provide hikers for years to come. So it truly is just humbling to sit and think that many people would reach out to help us. So yeah, it gets us every time we talk about it, gets us.
Well, I'm going to try to keep in the feels here. So congratulations on everything you're doing down there at your center, for what you guys are doing for the hikers, the community, and all the above. But Nathan, you also got to realize a dream this past summer. I think this was a 19-year section hike completion of the Appalachian Trail. But I want to talk
Correct.
to Kimm first, because Kimm is your support. And support people, to me, are just as important as us hikers ourselves. And you also had another gentleman with you in those last 100 miles, a gentleman by the name of Nimblewill Nomad. And Nate, we'll leave that for you. But Kimm, what is it like to see somebody that you love really fulfill a dream? I always wonder on the other side, because me being a hiker, us being the ones that are actually doing it, I don't think we feel the perspective from our support people like we should. So what is that like on your end, helping somebody fulfill that dream?
It was amazing. You'll get me emotional again. Seeing him just finish the trail, something he had started so long ago. And I mean, I wasn't even in the picture when he started, and his daughter is now graduating high school next year. It just gets you, because you know that that's something he's been striving for, and being there to help him and see him the last 2 or 3 years go through the process of going all the way up to Maine. Just, it's heartwarming, but it's incredible to see that he has the perseverance and drive to finish it. There's a lot of people that would have just given up, and not Nathan. It's not in him to just stop and not complete something. So it's, from my perspective, it was incredible to be there, to be part of that, and to experience it with him.
Are you nervous when he's out there? Are you like anticipating? Like, what are you doing when he's out there? I know, being a support person, you're helping other people and you're moving, you're driving from point A to point B, which in Maine can take forever, especially in the 100-mile wilderness.
This year was a little bit different. We had taken a friend's trailer up, so we weren't camping like we normally did. The 100-mile wilderness was a different beast. I'm sure that Nathan I'll talk about that. In the past, there's only been a couple times I was a little nervous. This year, I was about to come unglued, because, and I'm not going to steal this thunder from Nathan, and I'm sure he'll tell why later, that I was about to come unglued. But hiking with Nimblewill was unnerving for me, but also the things that they did. But for the most part, go out, do your thing, enjoy it, love every minute of it. And yes, I would go around trailhead to trailhead occasionally, but this year was a little bit different. I didn't have to do that as much. So I got to enjoy Maine, and then just kind of sit back and watch these two do their thing.
Which was amazing, I am sure. So
It was.
Nate, first of all, congratulations, and a job well done. 19-year section hike. And I'm not sure, maybe you could walk through the story for us of how you ended up because I don't think that was you weren't originally going to finish with Nimblewill, right? So walk us through. Tell us what happened.
Right. So, 19 years. It's been a long time. I was telling Kimm, I said, that's almost half my life, because I've been working on this thing. But so when Nimblewill wanted to announce his hike this year, he was going to go. He's doing this Bama to Baxter. He started in February on the Pinhoti, connecting it to the AT and doing all the way up to Katahdin. I'm actually taking on the job for him of managing his whole hike. So I do all his logistics. I do his planning. I line up his hostel stays, his hotels, his support, everything, and do his website. So I'm really hands-on with that hike for him, kind of doing what I do on the Pinhoti on a bigger scale and really focused for him. And we got to looking at it. I was like, man, he's not going to, at the rate he hikes now at 80, he'll be 83 next week.
Wow.
He's not going to get to Katahdin in time. And I knew we were going to go up in July. And so I pitched the idea to him. I said, hey, why don't you flip up there with me? Let's walk. You hike the 100-mile wilderness with me. We'll climb Katahdin. And that way, and then you can start walking south and walk away from the weather. And at first he's like, no. And he thought about it. And he said, okay, let's do that. It's a good idea. And man, it really worked out great. And he's moving away from the weather now. He's still on trail. It's he's got 130 miles left, I think. But,
wow.
He'll be done in a couple of weeks. But yeah, so that worked out great. And but he said, I got one request. He goes, the last 2 times I've been through the AT he did the ECT. He said, I did the knife edge. I want to do it again. And
there it is.
That's great. I said, that's great. I want to do the knife edge too. I have no idea what the knife edge is really like. I've seen a couple of videos and heard, it's close to the edge. But you never really know how.
When you're up there, you do. Yeah. You're like, yeah. We won't really tell Kim what it really looks like.
Oh, Kim got a video spot of it after the fact from someone else that had done it, and no.
Yeah, there's
unbelievable.
It was, yeah. I may or may not have cried a little bit.
Yeah.
So when you're finishing with Nimblewill, you guys are spending the nights out there together, you're tenting together. What are you talking about with somebody and I know you see Nimblewill as like a mentor. Mm-hmm. And I know Nate, he means, and Kim as well. I know he means a lot to you guys because he's down there with you guys at Flag Mountain. Right. I can't imagine the conversations.
They're great. So it's two different things for him. So during the day, he doesn't like to talk while he hikes. He doesn't want to hike with anybody during the day. He feels like either he's holding somebody up or they're going to hold him up, and he doesn't want that. So I kind of leave him alone during the day, and we kind of hike our own hike. And he does hike a little slower now, so I'll maybe hike ahead and sit down and wait for him, and we'll catch up together. And then, but in the evenings, it's really, really cool because he'll tell stories of, the last time I came through here, or this is what the last 2 times he went through the 100-mile wilderness, it rained on him every day. This year, we didn't get one evening of rain. It was incredible weather. So he really had a different experience, and he really enjoyed that. And he would talk about, how it was for him in the past. And a lot of people don't know this, but he wrote a lot of poetry. He has actually a book released of his ditties, he calls them. And he can cite these poems from 20 years ago. He wrote these from memory. And a lot of them were written in the 100-mile wilderness or on Katahdin. So he would get to a certain point and he would just stop and close his eyes and just kind of get in the moment. And he would start reciting his poetry. And let me tell you, you're talking about an experience. It gets you. And he's a real emotional person. It's just wonderful.
I cannot imagine. Yeah. I saw, I'm starting to get all emotional. I saw Darwin was at Alda, and he played like, I don't know, it was like a 4-minute clip of a feature he's got coming out called The Nomad.
Right.
And it was all Nimblewill. And he was just talking about the meaning of public lands and, probably talking like you and he, talked at night in the 100-mile wind. I was crying in the first 10 seconds of that thing. I was like, this man is phenomenal. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Great speaker. Yeah. He can capture a room without even trying. When he walks in or he walks down the street, even everybody wants to know what he's about. And when he starts talking, everybody's listening, and he has a way of his delivery and his emotion, I think is what it is. I don't know. He's just an incredible person.
What is it like when people see him on the trail? I'd be like, oh my God. I'd probably fall out. He's a celebrity. He means so much. A celebrity is not the right word. He is somebody that is really an icon in the hiking community. A legend. That's a celebrity is not the right word. A legend is a better word. Yes. He
really is. He doesn't understand that. He doesn't really like it. He's come to accept it, but he's told me several times, we'll we were hiking. I did some in the Smokies with him, and we were at I walked up to Fontana with him, and we were in the hotel there, and a group of hikers came up, and you could hear him whispering, is that Nimblewill? Is that Nimblewill? Like they said, yeah, that's Nimblewill. So he was like, I just don't understand. He goes, people know who I am because I walk. I say, that's not it. It's more than that. And but he, he's accepted that role, and he's a great mentor and a great example of what you can do if you just keep moving and go out to explore.
So what happens when you guys get to that sign, Katahdin?
Oh man. So we left early that morning from Katahdin. I mean, from
the campground.
Katahdin stream
campground. Okay. Yeah.
So we left about 6:00 in the morning, and we were making good time. The first part of the hunt trail, we were clicking right along, and nobody was passing us. And I figured there'd be a lot of people passing us. So I thought, well, we'd get up here and it won't be many people. We had a beautiful day. The weather was gorgeous. And when you make that last crest and you're going up, and you can see the actual peak in the distance, there's probably 35, 40 people up there already. And I was like, where do these people come from? But it was great. I was kind of with him. I was going ahead. And he said, Nathan, he said, when you get up there, don't go to the sign yet. He said, wait on me. And sorry.
It's okay.
And
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was great. So, sorry.
Well, Kim, this is where you take over.
I will. I'll say this, and I can't speak for what happened at the sign, but I can say, speaking from the humility and just who he is as a hiker, before they left the night before, we did get a spot in the campground, and there's a lot of logistical things that go into getting a spot to be able to hike in. And he slept on the picnic table. He did not pitch his tent. He was so excited. He put his pad on top of the picnic table and laid on top of it with his quilt over the top of him, and he slept on the picnic table. And it was just I'm like, is he okay? And he's like, this is what he does. So he has our hearts. He definitely has our hearts. And it's crazy to sit and think that I can't imagine what the emotion was, with Nathan up on top of the mountain hiking with a person that he has, I don't want to say idolized, but someone he has learned so much from since he started hiking 19 years ago. And Sonny was not about Sonny that night. Sorry, we call him Sonny.
That's all right.
He was not about Sonny that night. He was about Nathan. And everybody he spoke to was like, this guy's been doing this for 19 years. And he took all the heat off of himself. And he was like, celebrate the section. Celebrate this hiker who has been doing this for 19 years, knowing full well that he's been doing it for 22 years. He's just been doing one trail a year as one big section hike. So he's just phenomenal, just a phenomenal person. If you haven't ever had the chance to meet him, I would encourage you to do that. And I will also say that he has been the biggest advocate for the Pinhoti Trail, hiking the Appalachian Trail.
He has, because I've heard him say, and Nate, you said this too, the Appalachians start down there at Flag Mountain. So if you want to do the entire, Appalachian range, you got to come down there to Flag Mountain. And that's where he's going to come back to when he finishes.
Yep. Sorry, are you good now, baby?
Yeah,
you can keep going. Finish off your story.
I love you, Nate. I love you, Kim. I'm telling you, this is awesome.
So he cleared the sign. He got up there. He said, all right, look.
What?
And everybody knew who he was, right?
Yeah.
And he introduced me. He was videoing it.
Oh my God.
I'll have to share the video.
I'm like, I'm nobody. Don't do this to me. And he said, this is your day.
That is all. You got me all choked up.
Yep.
That is, I mean, incredible.
Yeah, the videos got him just hollering, this is Nathan Wright, and he's been section hiking since 2003, and this is 19 years. Can you believe? I mean, it's really funny, but he was genuinely so excited for Nathan. And Nathan, I don't know if he knows this or not, and I'll just put this out there for you since you're already emotional. that when we had asked him to flip with us, he told me, he said, I was going to not do it. He goes, but when I realized how long Nathan was doing this, he goes, I wanted to summit with him because I wanted to be there to celebrate.
Oh,
You know, he goes, I wanted to be there, be a part of his moment. And that's what it was for him. It was being a part of Nathan's moment. He wasn't like, he felt like a tag along, but he's like, I want to be there for Nathan's moment. And that was very, very heartwarming, but he's just that kind of person. That's just who he is. So I'm glad this isn't a video conference, a video podcast, because you get us all emotional.
We're all a mess.
I told you, I said, it's either going to be a disaster or it's going to be amazing. And I didn't expect us to go down the emotional road. So thank you for.
See, and I said, you never know. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you guys are amazing. I mean, I cannot imagine. I mean, just spending that time with someone who, when you get up there, what a moment. He clears the sign for you, Nate, and says, hey, this is Nathan Wright. He's finishing his section hike. Pretty much get out of the way. Like,
it's like,
we need this
y'all.
sign here.
Yeah.
Yep. Excuse me. Can y'all move, clear out the room? Nathan is here.
And I'm sure everybody was like, who is this guy? Like, they knew who he was, but they were wondering why, you know, what was so special about me, which, you know, it was interesting. It was great. It meant a lot to me, obviously, but yeah.
Phenomenal. And then you put the icing on the cake by going with Nimblewill Nomad.
I told him, I said, I would not
down the knife's
do that again
edge.
with you. So yeah, we had that emotional, you know, that crux right there at the sign, and you know, a lot of just a release of emotions. And then,
man, you guys were high on life. I'm telling you, right? No drug could have ever done that. And you take off down this knife edge. And you're like, man. I mean, how was that?
It was incredible. It was. So I don't know. Have you ever been on knife edge?
Well, I saw Knife's Edge from Katahdin, and I said, not no, but hell no.
Exactly.
And I was up there with 3 of my other girlfriends, and 2 went down the Knife's Edge, and I made one lady come back with me. I said, I am not. I just know I just can't do it.
Yeah, it was heart racing in a lot of places. But I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great experience. I did not, you know, and he'll tell you this, his reflexes and his balance aren't what they used to be. And those are 2 things that you need over there. And so it was a long, excruciating
It was a long day. That's a long day.
It took longer to get down than it did for them to summit. So,
yeah.
And they come rolling in about 8:00 at night. And I'm thinking they're going to be done by about 5. And Kim's coming unglued knowing I'm not going to get this call. Yeah. The forester was sitting right there at the base, and I'm like just waiting to call him in. I'm like, get the helicopters going because something ain't right. They're not back yet. But
yeah, so he set a record that day. The foresters pretty much agreed. They don't have any recollection of anybody older that did the whole traverse from up the Hunt Trail over Knife Edge and down Pomola down to Rainbow. What is that? Rainbow's campground. Where does that end?
I can't remember. Did you go to Pomola Peak or?
Yeah, we went up.
Pomola
we peaked
Peak,
Pomola, which I'm gonna tell you, you rock climbed that going up the face of that. I don't know. Ooh. I have a picture of us standing on the edge of that thing, and I got my hand up on his backpack because there's nothing behind us, and you're just standing there.
Oh man!
Yeah, I was like, oh man, if this rock gives, I can't hold on to him.
What a phenomenal day you guys had. So you in that. I mean, wow. I mean, what do you talk about after that? Like, it's like, oh, I mean.
I'll tell you. Sonny, he eats a big breakfast and then he'll just snack all day like a little mouse. He doesn't eat a lot during the day. So when he comes off of a long hike, he gets a little hangry. Ooh. So he needs a little bit of time to come down off of the trail and get some food in him, and then the conversations start flowing. And he was just over the moon excited for Nathan about finishing the trail. And but you learn so much about him when you get to just spend that one-on-one time with him in that close quarters near tent, campsite. But just the conversations go from anywhere from what he wants for dinner to, like Nathan said, poetry, to just funny stories. And sometimes he talks about people that we have no idea who he's talking about, but he's just a phenomenal person, a great storyteller, and a joy to be around. And I would love to invite you down to come do a show with him.
Yes.
That'd be a blast.
That's the thing
I'm
about
coming.
him. He's the caretaker at Flag Mountain, which is an old CCC camp. The old cabins are still standing from the 30s. So when he returns, he'll return to that position as our caretaker. And there's a couple of rocking chairs in front of the fireplace, and everybody's welcome. If you go in, sit down with him, he'll just chat with you. And he loves it. He loves everybody to come in and visit the mountain, and you can sit down and talk to him. He's very approachable. He's just wonderful.
Make you a pot of coffee, and if you drink coffee or not, you're having a cup of coffee with him.
There you go. And I love
matter.
coffee, so we're going to get along real well.
Yep.
So,
Yep, he has his way of getting people there and get them to stay. So it's phenomenal.
Well, listen, I make you guys a promise. I am coming. I'm not sure when, but it will be. I'm going to come meet you guys in person. In 2022, it's going to happen.
Okay.
It is going to happen. The next podcast we do will be in person. How about that?
That was so much fun.
That'd be great.
So listen, I don't want to take up any more of y'all's time. You guys have been phenomenal. Again, thank you for everything you're doing down there in Alabama, for all the Pinhoti Trail community as a whole. Nathan, again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And Kim, congratulations to you as well. And I say this at the end of every show, so I'll leave it with you guys. Kim or Nathan, is there anything you want to leave the listeners with?
Go ahead, Nathan.
So one of the things that I learned on this trip with Nimblewill, I'm a fast hiker, and I tend to get out in the woods, and I enjoy it, and I see the views, but I usually, I'm trying to click out the miles. This time with Nimblewill, walking a mile an hour, a lot slower than my typical pace, it gave me the opportunity to really slow down and take some stuff in. And I was able to take the side trails. And that's probably what I would say is slow down and take the side trails, whatever that means for you. But, on this trip, it was a side trails to a lot of different waterfalls or different viewpoints that are, if I was head down trying to get the miles, I probably would have skipped them all. But man, there's beauty out there. If you slow down and take it in, it's out there for you.
All right, Kim, we'll leave it with you.
Enough said. I don't think there's anything that I can add to that that's not going to, take away from what he just said, because it's so true. Especially we've learned that through COVID this year. Turn around and look behind you. You don't know what the view's going to look like there, but take the side trails. And Nathan, you couldn't have said it any better.
I love it. Take the side trails. Appreciate you guys coming back on, and I'm going to come down there and see you guys real soon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
I cannot thank you guys enough, Nathan and Kim, for coming back on the podcast and sharing with all of us your journey as you both continue to serve the hiker community along the Pinhoti Trail in Alabama. Love you both. And remember, everybody, as Nathan shared, take the side trails. As always, you can go to the hikingradionetwork.com and click on the Jester Section Hiker Show to find all of today's show notes, pictures, and links mentioned in this episode. If you find value in what we do here at the network, please consider leaving us a donation by clicking on any one of the donate buttons found on our website. And be sure to let us know why you enjoy our shows. Thanks for listening, everybody. Be safe out there, and happy section hiking.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning light. I wonder if you'd wander with me, and I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the street might go wandering with you. What kind of trouble we'll get ourselves into? Would it be wrong to tag along with a band of vagabonds? You wonder if I'd wander with you. So I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come. And we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods. I'm wondering if you'd come wandering my way. If you ever get lost, or if the trail leads you astray, the music of the pack can always bring you back. I wonder, can we wander away? And I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come. And we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.